The thrashing flail is becoming a more and more popular weapon in HEMA. Naturally, that means there's more interest on videos about them. On the flip side, this also means that certain myths will get retold multiple times. This does not mean that the people making these videos are doing it on purpose. The flail just has not been explored by that many people to spot these myths quickly. I've decided to look at some of these myths and at the same time make a response video to Matt Easton from Schola Gladiatoria's latest video where he compares montantes and flails. It's important to note that during the video he just talks about the thrashing flail, one-handed flail, and Iberian mangual as if they are the same weapon, so please keep this in mind.
They are more commonly found in longer forms, that is, with a shaft about the same length as something like this poleaxe.
The first myth is most likely owed to the fact that there are a lot of replicas around with hafts as long as halberds. Combine that with the old propaganda wood carvings of the time showing soldiers and armies with enormous flails, and naturally people will think that flails were just that massive. I've made a video about this before and I will post a link in the description, but to summarize, flail shafts were shorter than expected and the heads much longer than expected. The shafts of most flails are actually around the 140 centimeter mark.
Simply when peasants or militias were formed and they needed cheap weapons, they found, well, those agricultural flails, if we just enhance them slightly with some spikes and some iron, maybe add a spike on the bottom end as well, we've got a really good military weapon.
This is one of the most persistent myths around the thrashing flail, the myth that it's just an improvised weapon, used mostly by peasants. This is, as far as my research goes, simply not true. We have inventory lists showcasing flails in the arsenals. Most thrashing flails used in fighting seem to have been purpose-built for that job. Not to forget the multiple mentions of militia and guardsmen who've carried and used flails. And look at this, Kaiser Maximilian I fenced with a thrashing flail.
They are, however, harder generally speaking to defend with.
This might be true about the one-handed flail and the Iberian mangual, but not the thrashing flail. Look here. You can parry just fine with the staff part of the flail.
A little bit more unwieldy.
While one can be mistaken for thinking flails are unwieldy, this is not the case at all. It is a weapon that thrives off momentum. The momentum will make the flail head feel almost weightless, which means that swinging it will not feel cumbersome at all.
The great news for you is, if you can't afford a montante right now, or you're saving up for one, you can just get 2 bits of wood, join them together, stick some spikes on the end, and you can do the exact same techniques. So thanks Mendoza, the montante and the flail.
A flail, even a thrashing flail, is not makeshift. You should not add spikes to a practice flail as this makes it dangerous, nor should you add this to every flail. Unfortunately, Matt is not specifying which flail he's actually talking about, which gives the assumption that they're all just the same. And while it's true that momentum is needed in every flail, in this context Mendoza is specifically talking about the Iberian mangual. A weapon which he, by the way, does not describe as a practice tool. And to be honest, if you want to do montante and don't have a sword, just get a huge stick. You can still do all the reglas. Lastly, I want to talk about a specific myth which he mentioned in one of his older videos with Todd Cutler.
It's an unusual tool, but the thing is we've also got to remember these fencing treatises are not necessarily showing typical use of a weapon.
Yeah.
They're showing one-on-one, the gentry,
Yeah.
who are like, oh, let's have a bout with some.
You think? You honestly think it is a little bit of that?
100%, yeah.
We have so much evidence that this is just simply not true. Multiple copper etchings depicting fencers with flails in different situations. Kaiser Maximilian I fencing with the flail as previously mentioned. Or Joachim Mair depicting children fencing with the flail. And look at this, the flail is even drawn in the intro of one of Joachim Mair's manuals. I have made my opinion known that the leather practice flail was probably used as a dusak-like weapon for real flails and for other striking polearms. The flail was not just a weapon of war or a weapon of the guards and militia. It was also a weapon of the fencer. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments. We love talking about everything historical fencing. Thank you.